Okay, so today's video is about the writing sample that you may or may not get asked to do. If you're interviewing for kind of a mid-level and above role in Amazon, you will definitely get asked to do one. Some more junior roles are also asked to do them depending on the nature of the role that they're going for. So forgive me, I've got some notes with me today. This is quite a detailed video and I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget anything. So forgive me if I look up and down. Okay, so writing in Amazon is super important. Amazon is a very document-based business. PowerPoint has its place, but it's a very limited place. So you might see PowerPoint, for example, in town hall meetings or in training, but other than that, PowerPoint is not used. The way decisions are made in Amazon is that people write a long-form document, either say 2 pages or 6 pages. People go into a meeting, they sit down, they read the document in silence, they make notes, they capture their thoughts, and then for the rest of the meeting, the group will discuss the documents and their thoughts. So that's how it works. Now, that could be a kind of a business review document, or it might be a business requirement document where you're developing a product for a customer. It might be a strategy document, but either way, anyway, it's going to be a written document. So being able to write clearly and concisely in Amazon is absolutely fundamental to success, and that's why you are asked to provide a writing sample ahead of the interview process. So that's the kind of the reason why you're being asked for it. What you will be asked for, if you are asked to do a writing sample, is effectively you'll be given a behavioural / competency-based question to answer in the written form, in the same way that you would be asked that same question if you were actually having an interview. And you need to write that and then submit it ahead of your interview. So I have 6 kind of key things that are worth thinking about when you are planning and in the process of writing your submission. So, number 1 is around structure. So there are obviously a number of ways that you could structure that type of a document. My recommendation is that actually you follow the STAR process method. There's lots of kind of videos and documents out there about STAR. I'm not going to go over it now. But STAR effectively means situation, task, action, result. And most of you are going to plan your interview examples exactly using that structure. So logic kind of dictates that if it's the same question or type of question that you're going to get in a spoken interview and you're going to use the STAR method, makes sense that in a written document you also follow that STAR method. It's just kind of a really easy shortcut to make sure that you are super focused on what exactly you are intending to put in that paragraph. If it's the situation section, it's situation. If it's the task section, it's task. If it's the action section, it's the action. And if it's the result section, it's the result. There's just a really easy framework to help keep you in a really clear structure. So that's my first tip. My second tip actually is about font. Now, it's not going to make any difference to the quality of your document, the font that you use, but you're going to have to pick something. So in that you're going to have to pick something, my suggestion is you may as well pick Calibri 10. Amazon documents are in the main written in Calibri 10. So if I am the bar raiser reviewing your written sample or the hiring manager reviewing your written sample, if I'm looking at something in Calibri 10, it's at least kind of on a font basis pretty familiar and my brain doesn't have to think about it twice. So as I said, it's not going to be a game changer, it's not going to make a major difference, but you're going to have to pick something. So you may as well pick Calibri 10. Okay, so the next one is about brevity. Now, as I mentioned earlier, people in Amazon have to read a lot of docs every day. And nobody wants to spend their time reading through reams and reams and reams of words and sentences that could have been said in a far more concise fashion. So your writing sample needs to show that you can write with conciseness. So the guidance that I always give my own teams when they're writing docs is to write it long first. Just get your thoughts down on the paper. As I mentioned, the situation, the task, the action and the result. Just get the long version written down. It's really hard to both write your ideas down and edit at the same time. So part the editing, just get the thoughts down on the paper. Once you've done that, then you can go back and start to do your editing and be brutal with yourself. Challenge yourself. Can you reduce the number of sentences that you are using to land a point? Can you change 4 words into 2 words and still land the same message? Really edit, 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 edit. Super important. You've got those 2 pages and you want to make sure that every single word that you have on that page is delivering for you. So that's my next tip, brevity. So my next tip on top of that is specificity. So in Amazon documents, Amazon likes specifics. Nobody wants to read lots of customers do X or sales increased a lot. That is not specific. Every single Amazon document has to be specific. So when you're making statements like that, instead of many customers do X, say 10% of customers do X. Or if you're going to say, I increased a metric from the work that I did, don't just say I increased it, say I increased the metric from X to Y. Or I increased the metric by 10%. Or I increased the metric by 100 bips. Whatever that might be, but be specific. That again really shows that the way you write is very aligned to the way you have to write if you're in Amazon. So be specific when you make statements. Okay, so the next one is around data. So maybe I should have done data and specificity the other way around. However, it's really important, if you can, to include data points in your writing example. As I'm sure you all know, Amazon is a super data-centric organization. Almost every single decision ever made in Amazon is based on solid data. So if you can use data points in your writing sample, again, it gives the organization and the interviewers lots of evidence that you already think and behave in the way that you would need to inside Amazon. So it doesn't need to be a sales metric, but it does need to be some kind of metric, so percentages or response rates or sales volumes, efficiency metrics, whatever it might be. But a very specific data point helps the interviewer see that you already think like an Amazonian. Okay, so the last one, it's a super basic one, spelling and grammar. Please, honestly, in my interviews, I've read so many writing submissions, and it kills me, absolutely kills me, when I'm reading a document and just the basics are not covered. Spelling mistakes, punctuation mistakes. It's such a basic, and it's not that making mistakes there will kind of mean that you fail your interview process, but it is really indicative of what Amazon thinks of as insist on the highest standards. Is if there is ever a time that you insist on the highest standard for yourself and make sure that your work is as perfect as it could possibly be, that time has to be when you're trying to interview for a role. So if you aren't capable of doing that when you're interviewing for a job, then the interviewer can't really have confidence that you're going to do that in your everyday working at Amazon. So it's a super basic one, but it really matters, and it tells so much about you and your personal standards. So get it right. Use Grammarly, give it to somebody else to review, but do not submit a writing sample with spelling and grammar mistakes. It's such an easy one not to mess up on, and quite frankly, it's one that so many people mess up on. It's crazy. Okay. So those are my 6 tips for the writing sample. Hopefully that's been helpful for you, and I will see you next time. There are plenty more videos with tips and thoughts on the Amazon interview process on my YouTube channel. So if you search for Amazon Interview Whiz, you should be able to find me.